It's Monday, y'all. You know what that means. Who are the 12 best teams in the nation? Let's get to the list.
We ain't getting hunted, guys. We're doing the hunting, and hunting season's almost over. We only got one more chance to hunt, and we hunted tonight.
Hunting season 12. We got a couple new faces. Number 12 is going to be Oregon State. They're one of the Pac-12 teams that only have one loss. They are in the race for that Pac-12 championship. They got some big games coming up, but I really enjoy what I'm seeing out of that, what Coach Smith is actually doing with that team. And most importantly, their quarterback play. DJ Uiagalelei, he's probably the comeback player of the year for me. He went from the outhouse there at Clemson to being in the penthouse there in Corvallis. Number 11 is going to be Oklahoma, who suffered the upset there in Kansas. They're still a talented team. They're still scoring. And they only have one loss there in the Big 12. So they're definitely not out of the race. Now Big 12 football is probably going to be a little bit more on the radar of everyone, because now you got one loss Texas, you got one loss Oklahoma, and you got a couple other teams like Kansas State still in the mix. Oklahoma State is having a surprise season. They're in the hunt. Number 10 is going to be Penn State. They just had a very competitive fight against Indiana, but they pulled off the win, so they have rebounded from that loss to Ohio State. Number 9 is going to be Ole Miss, followed by number 8, Alabama. Both SEC West teams are in the hunt to see who's going to represent the SEC West in the SEC championship. Alabama has a very, very important game that we will talk about on Friday. Spoiler alert. Oregon's going to be your number 7 team. They had an impressive showing against Utah. They went up to Salt Lake City and took care of business just like a top team should. Their eyes are still on the prize of not only going to the Pac-12 championship, but hopefully getting to the playoffs. They're still one of my playoff picks, I believe. Let's get to the top 6. Number 6 is Texas, followed by number 5, Washington. Both of these teams struggled a bit, but they pulled off their wins. Texas has their backup quarterback, Malik Murphy. He's going to get more comfortable. You look at the kid, he's physically gifted. I watched him in their spring game. He can make the throws. He's talented. Let's see how many more weeks they have until Quinn Ewers is back. Number 4 is going to be Ohio State. They were in a rock fight a majority of this game against Wisconsin. I'm seeing questions about Kyle McCord, but I'm telling you, he's the best option at quarterback. That's a very talented team. And don't sleep on that defense. That Ohio State defense is showing up and showing out. And shout out to Marvin Harrison. I hope he's okay. I saw he did get injured. He's the best wide receiver in the nation. And I'm going to go ahead and say the dude's going to be in New York for the Heisman Trophy, as long as they beat Michigan. Your number 3 team and number 2 team, Florida State, followed by the University of Georgia. Both of these teams, frankly, dominated their opposition. Florida State went to Wake Forest and waxed those guys, showed them there are definitely levels to it. They look like a motivated team, ready to make the playoff. Georgia, we took care of our opponent. It's always a great day when you can say that you smacked up on the Florida Gators. And still the number 1 team in the hunting season 12, the Michigan Wolverines. They had a bye this week, and when I say timing couldn't have been any better, considering this sign stealing allegations and controversy and all of that, that team has to get it together, ignore the outside noise, and keep the main thing the main thing. Simple as that. This week they play against Purdue. After they smack those guys, they got some big matchups coming up. Penn State, Maryland, and of course Ohio State. Can Michigan take care of business and remain undefeated going into the Big Ten championship? We shall see. So y'all let me know down below. Should Michigan still be the number 1 team in the nation, even with the cheating allegations? Or should it be the Georgia Bulldogs, who went into Jacksonville and waxed those Gators? If you haven't already, look us up on socials at SuplexDinnerClub. That's the home of 2 podcast projects that I work on. Mondays, Fridays, we talk college football on Dawgs versus All Y'all. We don't just talk about Georgia football, we talk about all things college football, hence All Y'all. And on Wednesdays, you know the vibes, Life and Times Pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met through my years in the hospitality industry. Let me know down below, what team are you representing? The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I want to know more about you guys.